Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Morgur the Shadowgave taints all with his chaos corruption as he will be facing off against the Greenskins today. We do have Gidatmul will be leading the forces of the Beastmen, and we have Salsicha will be leading the Greenskin Horde. So for the forces of the Beastmen, we have a front line of very spread out of Ungor Spearman herd spread all the way across the battlefield, and they will be backed up by a trio of Chaos Bonds, a little unbreakable frontline troops. And of course, we do have Morgur the Shadowgave, as mentioned before. He is going to be bringing the Spirit Essence of Chaos and the Staff of Ruinous Corruption for lots of more summons of Chaos Spawn onto the field to really kind of hold that front line and do a bit of damage as well. For the magic, we do have a Brave Shaman of Wild, going to be bringing the Vile Tide and the Savage Domination for even more summons onto the field to get a little bit of Cygor action on the Beastmen side. They do have some range units. We have some Ungor Raiders to kind of fire in against some hopefully unarmored Greenskins, but over on this far left flank, already the engagement starting away with some Senegors and some of the Razorgore herds as well against the Greenskins, Forest Goblin Spider Riders, and Night Goblin Squig Hoppers. We'll be getting to that as soon as we can. On the other side, very similar with another pair of Senegors and Razorgore herd. For the Greenskins, we do have, of course, a lot of mobility on as well, as they do have Forest Goblin Spider Riders and some Night Goblin Squig Hoppers on both of the flanks, already engaging the Beastmen mobility themselves. And we have Azag the Slaughterer up on Skullmuncha, going to be bringing just Spirit Leech, but still having some fear and terror is always nice to be having. For the front line, going to be some goblins on the far flanks, but the front line is going to be the Savage Orc Biggins for some real stopping power. Should be able to break through the front line of the Beastmen fairly quickly, though the Chaos Bond may prove to be a little bit of a stickler for them, and they will be susceptible to the fire from the Ungor Raiders, but they have some Orc Arrow boys of their own for some ranged support. But that is going to be the armies, and while the armies have already started engaging, let's get things rolling, and we'll see just how things shape up. Now, the Night Goblin Squig Hoppers are actually going to be trading semi-decently well because of the Forest Goblin Spider Riders, but as soon as these do rout here, we can see that the tide start to sway maybe a bit more into the Beastman side, and we do have a nice Vile Tide, though, and that's definitely going to help things out. But Azag's also going to be helping this engagement, trying to sway things in the Greenskins' favor, but the Beastmen already starting off pretty strong with those engagements on both flanks, being able to rout off some of these Forest Goblin Spider Riders, getting rid of some of the poison. At least initially they will be back, but at least for the time being they will have a little bit of breather room in that regards. But the front lines are going to be engaging, and the Beastmen are actually going to be starting pulling back as much best they can, allowing their mobility to really do most of the heavy lifting in this engagement, trying to win that because they know they can't really win that frontline engagement too well. The Savage Orc Biggins are going to make quick work of these Ungor Spearman herds, so they're not going to want to be taking that engagement unless they absolutely have to, and they have the support of their mobility. So the Beastmen are going to be trying to win that fight as quickly as they can to allow all of their Senegors to really sweep in and help that frontline engagement. But Azag's not going to be so patient in that regards, swooping in, trying to break these lines as quickly as possible. Though we do have the wall popped as the front line is finally engaged, though. As you can see, these Ungor Spearman herd just absolutely getting beat down. However, the Chaos Bond going to be holding their own a lot better, dealing the damage. I mean, all these damage are very low armored, all these combatants. So all this damage is going to be very, very quick. And I imagine this battle is going to be over very, very quickly, one way or the other. But so far, it is too early to tell which way that will go and how long things will be able to hold out. Even Morgur, though, has taken quite a bit of damage, and Azag is going to be circling around. He does have his pick and choice of his engagements, but the left flank for the Beastmen is doing fairly well, able to just kind of chew through all of the Forest Goblin Spider Riders and the Night Goblin Squig Hoppers, with Azag supporting, trying to keep that alive as long as he can. But I think that avenue is going to be a bit of a lost cause for the Greenskins, as the Beastmen are just kind of relentlessly advancing on that front. However, the front line, especially with the Savage Orc Biggins, going a bit better to an extent, able to really break down a lot of the Chaos Bond fairly well. However, with the loss of the mobility for the Greenskins, things are not going to be looking as good as things do progress, because now the Senegors and those Razorgore herds are going to be able to cycle in and out of these frontline engagements with the Savage Orc, and you can just see how quickly they are taking damage. While the Savage Orcs do have an amazing damage output, they really will not last long, so it is pretty much going to be a very quick engagement. But as I sensing a bit of an opportunity here, or kind of a need to really deal with Morgr, he did get a nice attack in, but the summon from the Spirit Essence of Chaos does come in, getting a nice summon, as well as the Cygor summon from the Bray Shaman a Wild. So that's going to be a lot more of a holding force in this engagement. And the bounce power does show that this is mostly from the summons. Now, the Greenskins aren't necessarily out of it just yet, but I mean, the Beastmen are just being able to mulch through things. Nice Vile Tides across the map, really whittling down the Archer support, and I think things are looking pretty grim for the Greenskins, as the Beastmen and their vast mobility really showing just how well they can do. And you can just see this absolute massive chaos spawn, Senegors, Cygors here for the Beastmen. There's nothing that the Greenskins have that can really crack into this. They have to kind of wait it out as best they can for all of these summons to dissipate. They really don't want to be engaging as like they're doing right now. They just have to wait for that, especially the Cygor and those Chaos Spawn. But I don't know if the Greenskins necessarily have the, I guess, infantry left to really wait it out. The Ungor Raiders have nothing that can really pressure them at this point, and they'll be able to free to fire at these all very lightly armored units. So the Savage Orc Biggins will be able to take a ton of damage. The mobility is shattering left, right, and center. But all the summons, this massive summons here, is all going to be dissipating very, very soon. As you can see, it's on its final legs as all the Chaos Spawn do dissipate, and that Cygor should be shortly to follow, but it's going to be a little too late, as the Greenskins are going for a Hail Mary attempt, trying to get in onto Morgr, but Azag does rout himself, and that will be our match. So a very quick and battle here from both sides, as they were just trying to kind of rush past the other side, essentially. But the Senegors being able to win that mobility engagement against the Greenskins was really what kind of won it for them, because once that they were able to break down all these Forest Goblin Spider Riders and Night Goblin Squig Hoppers, they pretty much had free reign to do whatever they wanted, and nothing that the Greenskins had was heavily armored at all. I think the Night Goblin Squig Hoppers may have had the most armor out of all of these troops, with the exception of probably Azag here, because all of these Savage Orc Biggins, they have physical resist, but they do have zero armor, I do believe, or it's like 15, but very, very low indeed, and it's mostly just to quickly break through. And some of them did quite well themselves. I mean, 1,200 on that one, almost 1,200 there. However, they just couldn't hold off long enough, because even some of that damage was being done on some summons, and that's one thing that the Beastmen really have going for them, is all of that summons. And those summons are going to be unbreakable with those Chaos Spawn, and it's a lot of mass as well to help tie things down, though they didn't really need that mass in this battle here. Pretty much just relying on that mobility to really get the job done, and get the job done they did. And that is all I'm going to have for y'all today, though. I do hope you enjoyed that video, and as always, have a good one.